You are listening to the Spiritual Warrior Coach with Barbara Savin, the podcast for discovering how powerful your wisdom, compassion, and courage is. Get ready to join Barbara and her guests as they explore and offer you advice on how to reclaim your power, your energy, and your authentic self. And now, here's the host of the show, Barbara Savin.
Thank you for joining me today and welcome. I am Barbara Savin, your spiritual warrior coach, and I am here to help you reclaim your power, energy, and your authentic self. And for those of you that do not know me, I am a certified clinical and medical hypnotherapist, Reiki master and teacher, energy healing specialist, life coach, and best-selling author of Gentle Energy Touch, the Beginner's Guide to Hands-on Healing. You know, I have been helping my clients for over 35 years. And the older I get, the more wisdom seems to come true. So isn't it time that you believe in yourself? You know, your mind is going to provide you with your greatest challenges in life because it's so very, very powerful. So let's use it for positive thinking, creating harmony, balance, peace, love, happiness, and anything else that your heart desires. Because one day the world will tap you on your shoulder and say, this is your time to shine. So I'd love to begin my podcast with an inspirational story. And this one is, it's never too late. You know, in the 1940s, there was a man who, at the age of 65, was living off a $99 Social Security check in a very small house, driving a beat-up car. And he decided it was time for him to make a change. So he thought about what he had to offer that other people may benefit from. And his mind went straight to his fried chicken recipe, which his friends and family truly loved. And he left his home state of Kentucky and traveled throughout the entire country, trying to sell his recipes to restaurants. And he even offered the recipe for free, asking for only a small chunk of the money that was earned. However, most of the restaurants declined his offer. In fact, 1,009 restaurants said no to this man. But even all of those rejections, he still persisted forward because he believed in himself and in his chicken recipe. And when he visited restaurant number 1010, guess what? He got a yes. And you probably know who I'm talking about. His name is Colonel Hartland Sanders. So what is the moral of the story? You know, there are a few lessons that we really need to take away from this. First, come on, it's never too late in life to find success. In a society that often celebrates young people and successful people, it's easy to start to think you're never going to be successful after a certain age. But however, Colonel Sanders is an example that proves that argument wrong. You know, this story also demonstrates the power of persistence. And, you know, you have to have confidence and belief in yourself for you to know that you can do anything that you set your mind to do. So if anyone tells you no, guess what? Simply move on and do what you feel in your heart that you can do. So now I want to introduce someone to you that I know in her heart, she's been on an incredible journey. Her name is Andrea Michal, and she is the author of three self-development books, A Trilogy of Light, as she refers to her books. And, you know, Andrea, she writes with a sense of fun and adventure, and her storytelling is enlightening and relevant to today's struggles and challenges for all of us. And her journeys gives messages of hope, of healing, and an understanding that we are never alone in our life experiences. Andrea is a motivational speaker, philanthropist, entrepreneur, and a holistic life coach and mentor. And she is credentialed in evidence-based coaching, organizational development, and leadership through Fielding Graduate University. Sorry for getting a little tongue-tied. She also holds a BA in communications from UCLA, as well as a certificate in meditation and conflict resolution. Andrea is a shadow work facilitator and way of counsel leader, and is an expert in group facilitation methods and holding space in groups. It's just one of those days. I apologize. Andrea is she formerly owned and operated New Moon Wellness, which I've been to many times. It was a healing arts hub and conscious community center in Agora Hills here in California, and Trailblazer Tours, a guided hiking, nature, and wellness company. Her passion is traveling and being immersed in the cultures of the world. Andrea is the mother of 3 amazing grown sons, and she plays hard, works hard, and finds joy in the simple pleasures and relationships in life. And I'm sorry, Andrea, for being a little tongue-tied, but welcome to the show.
Thanks, Barbara.
I guess it happens in life, words get a little tongue-tied.
Yes.
You are an amazing individual. We know each other about what? 10, 15 years now?
Yeah, it's been a while now.
It's been a long time. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we met when you were actually writing your first book, I remember.
Yes, I think we did. I believe we met at the Four Seasons when you were working there for many, many years. And we did seminars together. Right. And I believe I was writing my first book. So
yeah, you were writing. Actually, I have it right here. It's called Encounter the Light. It's probably backwards, I think, maybe, but
no, I can see it.
Oh, you can see. Okay, beautiful book. I mean, the illustrations. I mean, everything is gorgeous in the book. And I know that it's a book about your journey and, and how you actually got started. Can you tell our listeners about what actually motivated you to write this? And the challenges that you had to overcome?
Sure. We've all overcome so much, especially this last year with everything that's been going on, but really throughout our lives, because I believe we're here on this earthly plane to learn and grow and transform. And I've had my share, and I'll tell you a little bit about my story. I could start when I was very young, when I always felt I was a little bit different, a little bit like really young. When I was like 4 or 5 years old, I would kind of look at myself and say, am I really Andrea? Who am I? And that's, to me, the spirit talking, the soul. Like, we are souls in these bodies that I believe. And I knew that there was something to me that was bigger than just, my body and my existence here. But, kind of put that away for many, 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 many years. I went to UCLA, and actually when I was at UCLA and I was graduating, I actually became very anxious. I had a lot of anxiety, and I couldn't sleep. I had insomnia, very, very bad. I don't know whether any of your listeners can relate to that, but I had a hard time going to sleep, probably because I had a lot of fears and I didn't feel connected. I felt separated and I kind of felt alone. And I actually felt that for a lot of my life, until definitely more recently, and what I call my spiritual awakening. And I really had a lot of anxiety. And that's when you really don't trust yourself, when you don't trust the divine source, when you feel like what I said, separated, and you feel kind of all alone. And I just didn't feel connected. And as time went on, different things happened in my life. I had a lot of loss. My mom died when I was 29, which was, pretty tragic for me. I was young and she was just a beautiful woman, and it was very difficult. Later on, I also was in a marriage for a really long time to my high school sweetheart, and we decided to go our own ways. And so I had children, and the divorce was very difficult. And I had a lot of fear about my future, about like, what's going to happen to me. I felt afraid of the unknown. And I actually sunk very deep into what I call my darkness during that time, because of the losses and the just incredible uneasiness I felt within myself. But I came out of it. And when I came out of it, I did have a lot of difficulty during that time and challenges. There were people around me that sometimes didn't always want me to rise in my light. And there were people that sometimes wanted to keep me down. And I actually ended up in a hospital, which is a really tragic thing that happened, because I don't think I belonged there. But there were people that kind of felt that I needed to be there. I never was suicidal, but there were times when I was so anxious and depressed that I almost didn't want to live. But I never would have actually committed suicide. That wasn't in me. But I did have a lot of anxiety and depression, like I said. So I did kind of come around. I enveloped myself with really amazing people, energy healers, other healers, good therapists, good people that really uplifted me. And I started learning more about me and more about what I needed to do to bring in the light within me. And I rose out of the darkness. Wow. And that's really a lot about my first book, not only my experience, but the things that I learned and shared through my blogs with my family and friends when I was out of the darkness into the light. And that's why the first book is called Encounter the Light, because I was encountering it. I didn't understand what that even meant.
How long did it take you to write the book?
Well, I'll tell you a little story, one more little story. I was actually driving home from Santa Barbara one day, and I was still having a little bit of an upheaval of like, well, what do I do in my life now? I had a wellness center, and I loved that, but it was closing and I was moving on, and I didn't know what my next steps were. And I was driving home, and I said to myself, I'm ready to do something else. And then literally I got a download of what the chapters were going to be all about. And I drove home and I said, please don't forget, please don't forget. And I got to my kitchen table and I wrote down the titles, not the writing, but the titles of all the chapters. And about 10 years before, I had gotten the domain name Encounter the Light. Wow. And I did not know what it was. It just came to me, and I had bought it, on a GoDaddy platform or something like that. And it came to me, this is my book. My book is Encounter the Light. It's the domain name that I chose many, many years earlier.
Wow, that's an incredible story. So you went all this challenge of really not knowing who you were. At what age did you finally, come out of all this? So, well, you had the 3 children, right? So who took care of the kids while all this was happening?
I was still there. I was still around, although there was a period of time that I was having really severe, mental and emotional challenge, especially with the divorce. I had a lot of guilt, a lot of shame, that I was breaking up the family, and it was weighing on me. It was a very difficult time, and I was scared. I didn't know.
Yeah.
I really had a beautiful life. It looked like I had everything. And I was kind of saying, well, this isn't everything, because I need to find my inner happiness,
Right.
more than all of the things that it looked like, more than all of the outer happiness. And that's really where I was, but I was feeling guilt, shame, and terrified of what my next chapter in my life was going to be like. So, yeah, I mean, there were a lot of support for my kids during this challenging time. Yeah.
You have twin boys, right?
I do. I have twins that are now 27, and I've got a 30-year-old.
Wow. Can you imagine?
No, I can't imagine. No.
Oh, listen, my son just turned 48. My daughter's 46. And I said, where has this time gone? I mean, it's like, it's crazy. It's flying by so quickly.
It is.
Wow. So then you had older children when you began writing this book, the first book.
Oh yeah, I really started writing. I've been writing these books very quickly, actually, Barbara. Yeah, I started only about 6 years ago writing, 5-6 years ago.
Okay.
I've really written 3 books. It's a trilogy, and I didn't even know that's what it was going to be, but it's a trilogy. And the first one is more about, my existence, my history and what I've gone through. And then the second book is Beacon of Light. I know you have it right there.
Yes, I do.
Yeah, that's 14 keys to unlock the light within you. And that was my second book. And then the third book, you are a part of.
Yes.
And it is called Tribe of Light. And that one is interesting. That one is, is it's a group of 9 women, a collaboration more than a group, a tribe of women that wrote amazing stories of their healing journeys. And you are one of them. And your story is powerful. And it's really amazing to read. And so yes, you're one of the authors. And yeah, it's a collaboration of how community helps us heal. So what's interesting about the trilogy of my books is the first one is more about me. The second one is 14 Keys to Unlock the Light Within You. So it's more about how to raise your light, how to feel more joy and happiness in your life by exploring your values and who you really are. And then the last one is how community helps us heal. So it's me, you, and community. It's really a trilogy.
Did you know that was going to happen that way?
Absolutely not.
It's amazing how it just happened.
It's actually a question within a question. It really is for you to say that, because no, I did not know. And it's really, that's what it is to follow your heart. That's what it is to follow your, I guess, your higher self, and to just step out and say, this is what I'm feeling. This is what, we don't always know what our next step is, but if you get an inkling, you get an idea, you get a thought, and you really go for it, things happen. It's amazing.
It is amazing because, I've written my book, and that was in the making for I actually used it as a workshop, and then everyone would tell me, you should write a book. And finally I listened to that feeling of just do it already. And the same with the podcast. I'm just starting now doing this, and it's something I've been wanting to do for at least 2 years, but I made a promise to myself that before the age of 73, I was going to do these podcasts. And excuse me, I'll actually be 73 this September. So we need to really follow our heart. It's that knowing without knowing that we know, and tapping into that higher self of us that all of us have, and listening to that feeling. Just like with my title, the Spiritual Warrior Coach. When I heard it, I sat down in this chair and I said, hello, do you really think I'm going to get the .com and .net for this? And lo and behold, I went online and they were available. So you have to go with that flow, that feeling, because if we don't, then we're actually losing out on opportunity, I want to say.
Right. And I do believe I'm with you on that completely. And I'm so excited for you and your new adventures. And I do believe that, we all have those feelings. I do believe that the more we clear the blocks, the stuckness that might be with us, the more we can really hear those messages too. And that's actually what my books and what I do as a coach also is to help clear and I know you do too, we both do, is to help clear those blocks that are stopping us from really hearing those messages within us, within ourselves.
We need to constantly shed the old so that we can move forward in the new and in the now. Otherwise, if you stay stuck in the past and dwell on all your issues and things that have happened, how can you possibly hear, the messages or move forward in life?
Exactly.
We just can't. And so even for myself, I every day I clear. And I say, whatever, I sit in my chair and I say, God, whatever needs to be cleared and shedded, please do it so that I can be the best I can be for today. Because I actually do not know what tomorrow will bring, but it's what matters is actually today.
Yeah, that's a great practice.
Yeah. And I feel it helps me, and I go in my backyard and I take off my shoes and stand on the grass and I ground myself to Mother Earth so that I feel grounded, centered, and balanced, and put myself then in a bubble of protective light. And now here's my day. So, it's a routine. And I really feel we need to have some type of spiritual
ritual.
In order to really move forward. So what do you do for yourself? Your books are unbelievable. So I know I'm sure as you were sitting and writing, they upstairs were just downloading information.
Yeah, I'll tell you one thing. It just so happens that my father is, no longer alive. He's deceased, but he was an English professor. So I don't claim to be the most, prolific writer at all, but I enjoy sharing my learning lessons, sharing my experiences, sharing my philosophies through writing and also speaking. But it's interesting because when you said that, I always think that he's there for me and coming through me in my writing, especially when I spell something wrong or need a new good sentence. But you also asked me what are my rituals, and I have to say, very similar to yours. The grounding is wonderful. I also really engage in prayer, and I really prayer meditation. And it's interesting because some people say, well, what's the difference between prayer and meditation? Well, meditation to me is a little bit more receiving, where you close your eyes, you try to clear your mind, and you allow anything to come to you. Whereas prayer is when you are giving something, you're saying what you desire, you're saying what you wish for. So, and I don't do it for long periods of time. I don't need to. I just need a short few moments to do a little meditation and a little prayer every day. And that keeps me balanced and centered. And
I know it's funny that you say prayer, because every morning what I do is, as I close my eyes and I visualize Mother Earth, the whole earth in my hands, and I can actually feel it spinning, and I just ask for love and light and healing to go everywhere that it needs to go. And I'll sit there for at least 3, 4, 5 minutes, just visualizing, sending healing and light to the earth, because we need it. So, I mean, everything has been so toxic lately that it's challenging.
Yeah, I agree with you. And the more that we as light workers, as healers, as human beings could, send out that beautiful love and light, what you're talking about, the more we're changing the world, the more we're making a difference.
And I feel in my heart there's more and more people becoming more spiritually aware, more conscious, conscious of the truth, I want to say.
Yeah. I see it as well, and I pray for it. And I mean, there's still toxicity out there, and we have to separate ourselves as much as we can from that, whether it's a relationship or just negativity. But yeah, I agree. I think more people are saying, hey, we need to change. We need to transform and change what we're doing and how we're treating the earth, how we're treating our planet, how we're treating each other. So, and ourselves.
Yeah, ourselves, the animals, the air. I mean, everything.
Yes.
Everything.
Yes.
Because there's, unfortunately, there's a lot of suffering.
Yeah.
There's a lot of suffering.
Yeah.
But I want to ask you a question. I know you mentioned about the beacon of light.
Yes.
Can you give us one of the keys to unlock, the light that's within you? Oh God, there were so many of them here. Boundaries. Setting boundaries is so important.
Oh yeah.
Why? Because it's okay to say no, and I feel that no is a sentence in itself.
Yeah.
So you don't need to make excuses. You don't need
That's a good quote, Barbara. No is a sentence in itself. That's good.
Right? It's a great quote. But
my book really goes through different challenges that we have, and things to uplift us. Like one of the chapters is on courage. One of the chapters is on, like you said, boundaries. One of the chapters is on consistency, being consistent in life. I'm trying to think. You have it right in front of you.
Yeah,
but,
I do, don't I? And you signed it also.
I did, of course.
Oh, yes, self-care.
Self-care.
That's a big one. Most of us, I speak to so many women, and they feel guilty if they want to go for a massage.
Yeah. Self-care. I think that there's two parts to it. And I agree with you. Some people feel really bad about taking care of themselves. that stems from sometimes lacking, well, of course, some people lack just time when they're
But
feeling
yeah.
overloaded, but I think it also comes from a lack of really feeling they deserve to be taken care of themselves. And that's more of an inner feeling. And I think what I talk about with self-care a little bit is that all of those outer things are wonderful, you know, taking a massage and a bath and going on a long hike, of course, and being in nature and all of those things. But the self-care is also about, it's a little bit combo. It's about saying no to something. It's about saying yes to something. It's about saying no to a person that, you know, might not be supporting you fully. So self-care has a large
A lot. Well, and it's, you know, I know even for myself, as I age, I realize how important it is for me to take care of me, and then I can take care of everyone else around me.
Exactly.
But, you know, in my early years, it wasn't like that. And then I found myself, you know, stressed and anxious, not able to sleep, and not doing well. Not
I
doing
agree.
well.
It's so interesting because I think that that's where it stemmed from with me. When I look back, we were talking earlier about me having anxiety and depression and feeling not good. It was exactly what you just said. I wasn't taking care. I wasn't prioritizing. And, you know, it's the old story of in the airplane, taking down the oxygen mask. And if something happens in the airplane, you have to put that oxygen mask on you first, and then you can put it on your children or other people. But if you don't put it on yourself first,
You may not be able to put it on them.
You
So,
exactly,
yeah.
exactly.
And I think that's what the challenge is with a lot of people.
Yeah.
They feel, well, you know, I have to do this, and this, but they forget about themselves.
Yeah. I
And I,
agree.
you know, and I think, you know, during COVID, it actually awakened us, you know, because now we had time home, and we said, wow, this is a little strange
Yeah.
being home. But I really feel we needed that.
Yes. I think we prioritized. That's, I guess, the word that's coming to me is, I hope most people did, really saw what was more important in their lives, and not just all the running around and the craziness. And, you know, what do they say? Success is really how you feel inside. It's not all that we do in our work. I mean, that's important to us too.
Of course.
But that's really joy and feeling content and feeling at peace. Those things are really, if you've mastered those, you are successful no matter what else is going on in your life. So that's what I believe, that I can only say for myself. And over the years, I don't know whether I've completely mastered it all, but I guess I have, compared to the way I was before. I've really changed, and I really have, actually. I've mastered those things more in my life. So
I feel I have also. And last year did make me realize, wow, it's okay to just be.
yes.
Just be. It's all right. Don't feel guilty about it or anything else. Just be.
Yes.
And that's what I learned all last year. You know, instead of all the running and going and all that, that it was okay. It was actually just okay.
It is
That's
okay.
yeah.
And it is actually, you know, what they say, we're human beings. We're not human doings. So
That's a good one.
yeah, we don't get it. We think we're doings, but we're in actuality beings. And it's exactly what you just said. We're here to really be the best we can be. So, yeah.
And it's so important. And of course now, I'm back to an extent, not running crazy anymore. I've decided, to let that go a little bit and to do what I feel in my heart I need to do now. So I'm changing a little bit, rebranding myself, you could say, like most of us have. But I'm probably going to write my second book, finally do that. Is there a fourth book in your life?
It's a great question. It hasn't come to me yet.
Okay.
Although I already bought a little .coms.
Oh, you did?
It's called,
Okay.
I'll tell you the name, but I don't know what it is yet.
Okay.
Isn't that interesting? I guess I could say it, right?
Yeah, well, you have it, so no one's going to take it away.
No, it's called Artist of Authenticity.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. So it's all about being my authentic self. And what does that mean? Now, I don't know yet what I'm writing. So stay tuned.
Stay tuned. Well, I can't wait for that fourth one to come out, believe me. And I so appreciate you putting me in this one, The Tribe of Light, and we had a book signing last week. Yes. And, we all described, what we said in the books, and it was a wonderful day, I have to say. It was a Sage restaurant, which is all plant-based food, which is absolutely delicious in Agoura Hills. If you live in Agoura Hills or that area, go to Sage Restaurant.
Yeah.
Yeah. I go to that restaurant in Pasadena.
You told me with your granddaughter. Yes.
They love plant-based food.
It's so healthy. It's great. And yeah, I happen to be, I'll tell you another little secret online. Here we go. I happen to be an investor in the restaurant. Oh,
nice.
Because I really wanted another plant-based restaurant to come out to this area, to where I live, which is the Conejo Valley and, Agoura, Westlake, that area. So I invested in them to come here. And so that's great. Thanks for the plug.
Yeah. Oh, I wish we had that in Simi Valley.
I know.
They're not that I love Simi Valley for everybody that is from Simi Valley, but it would be nice to have a little healthier restaurants here, especially Sage Restaurant.
Yeah. So, well, you never know. Maybe that's the next
that's right.
location for them.
Maybe. I hope so.
Yeah, it'd be great.
So where can my listeners find out about you and your work and everything else? Okay,
sure. I have a website, and my website is my name, Andrea Michal, MICHAL.com. And you're more than welcome to come and see what I do. I am a professional coach. I do transformational work. I think I'm pivoting a bit though right now, although I do coaching. Okay. I think I am really wanting to be more of a motivational speaker and speak at different, I don't know, venues, businesses. We'll see what comes up for me, but I'm going to put that out there, Barbara.
So maybe we can get you on TED.
Yeah, you never know.
You never know. You never know. Actually, I have a list of some places that for inspirational speakers. I'll send it to you on your email.
Okay, thank you. I would appreciate that. And if any listeners out there right now are interested, my speaking is about resiliency because of my story and my past ancestral stories also. So I'm speaking about resiliency, and I'm also speaking about something along the lines of detox of the soul, because, you know, we do detoxes of the body, and we do a juice cleanses or water fasting or all this stuff, and we try to get all the toxins out of our body. But the real thing is, how do we get the toxins out of our emotional selves, our mental selves, our spiritual selves? How do we, you know, try to get that out of our systems so that we can be more free and be more in our whole selves? So those are the subjects.
That's very important, because most people, that's where they're all stuck.
Yeah.
They just can't move forward. And that's what, you know, shedding is all about, and letting go.
Yeah, I know you do energy work and energy healing, and I know that's what you do to help people as well.
No, I feel we need to just clear what doesn't serve us purpose and not still stay in that.
Yes. And I know you do an amazing job at that also.
Well, thank you.
I appreciate your work very much.
Where are, you know, your ancestors? Like my grandma that was from Istanbul, and my other grandma, well, grandparents were from Russia, you know, Poland.
Mine were too. I have Eastern European background, and then my mother was from Germany.
Oh, wow.
And she was a Holocaust survivor. So she wasn't in the camps or anything. She was very young and put on a kinder transport, which was a train out of Germany to Switzerland, where she lived during the war. She went back and found out her family was that they perished in the concentration camps. So there's a lot of energy that comes from being a child of a survivor. Yeah, and that was some pieces of my process that I needed to overcome and let go, as well as the ancestral lineages from both sides of my family, so that I could be, you know, more authentic and more whole in myself, and not carry all of that. So
yeah, because that's a lot to carry, believe me.
It is.
So it's heavy.
Yeah.
Very heavy. But, you know, it's like anything else. That's what makes us who we are.
It is. And everybody has some kind of lineage, ancestral lineage, generational lineage that needs to be looked at and needs to be, like what you were saying, let go of the energy around it. Not so much the stories. The stories can be very important.
Oh, yeah, they are.
To move on, and learn from, but the energy surrounding it sometimes needs to be forgiven. A lot of forgiveness.
Without a doubt.
Yeah.
Because if we don't forgive, you know, and accept, how can we move? You just can't move forward. I know for myself, I needed to forgive, you know, and accept things that happened, in order to, as you mentioned, to let them go so that you can be your authentic self.
Exactly. And you write that in Tribe of Light. Your story is a lot about that, about how you found yourself, you know, through your healing process and became more of a healer. And yeah, so
can everybody, they can get your books on Amazon, right?
Yeah. We forgot to say that, of course.
Yeah, I know. That's what I was saying.
We skipped over that. I said my my website, and I didn't say,
your books.
You could buy them on Amazon, Barnes and Noble, Kindle.
So you could 3 of them up here.
Kindle.
And here's the
buy them in paperback. Thank you, Barbara.
You're welcome.
Yeah, and you know, I'm just all about bringing more light into the world, through healing myself, really.
Well, once we can heal ourselves, we can then help others. And that's how I feel.
Yeah.
But the
And
healing has to come here first.
yes.
Then how can you be authentic and help others if you have not healed yourself?
Exactly.
Of course, we don't heal everything, but a good portion needs to heal.
Yeah, we're a work in process. Wait, what do you say? A work in progress.
Progress, yeah.
Actually, we're kind of a little bit of both.
Oh, but yeah, both, right?
In progress, exactly.
But it's all good. It's all good.
Yeah.
So again, where can everybody reach you? Your website?
Again, my website, I have two. I have one called Encounter the Light, which is the name of my first book. You can go to Encounter the Light to order the books, or you could reach me personally on mine, AndreaMichal.com.
And go to Amazon and purchase these. They're the best books you'll ever read, besides mine.
Of course.
Of course, I have to say mine. But yeah, they are really very uplifting.
Thank you. And they're really a good step for people. They ask questions at the end of every chapter. So they're really a great step for people to delve into what's important to them. Not just me telling my story, but how do you feel about the subjects?
Right. It gives them more of an awareness and something to, I want to say, really think about.
Yes.
And when you really start thinking about something, that's when you actually begin to heal and let go.
Yeah. Awareness. Yes.
Awareness. Yeah. That's what it's all about. So, well, I thank you very, very much for being here. And again, go to Amazon, buy Andrea's books. They're incredible. And don't take my word for it. Believe me, a lot of my own clients have read your books and tell me how incredible they are. And I thank you for allowing me to share my story, about 9/11 and everything in your book. So
yeah, you'll have to on one of the podcasts share a little bit more about your story, because it's really an incredible story too.
Oh, I will. And 9/11's coming up, so I may just do a do something on 9/11. It's dear to my heart, and I'm just very grateful for my two coming home, and that's something at one point I'll talk about. But well, again, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Have a beautiful rest of the week filled with love and light. And I just want to thank everybody, for listening. And I would love to leave you with these words. My purpose is to help you overcome your challenges and to encourage healing and everyone's success. So nurture and honor your dreams and your desires so that you're able to manifest them. You can't build a story of success if you give up. And I know, Andrea, you have not given up, and neither have I. So, the world, as we know it, a lot of people give up, and the world needs hope. So, just stand up and fight through those challenging moments and allow yourself to shine through the darkness and, those dark times and be the difference in an indifferent world. So, as we say, trust and believe in yourself. So, again, thank you for my listeners, and I hope you enjoyed my podcast and my guest, Andrea Michal, and heard what you needed to hear. So, please visit me at motivateyourlife.net, and also visit my YouTube channel at Barbara Savin. And there I have grounding meditation, sleep, relaxation, and so much more. I'd love to hear from you. You can email me at barbaraesavin@aol.com. And again, just visit my website at motivateyourlife.net and have a beautiful week filled with love and light. Love, Barbara. Bye.